Amanda Brooks, coming to you live from Bangor, Maine. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm a physician assistant. I've been practicing emergency medicine for 14 years, and about 2.5 years ago opened a wellness center. It's called the Inner Greatness Center, which is where I'm coming to you live from. And it's really my goal to bridge the gap between modern and alternative medicine. So after a post I did a few days ago about essential oils, there was an overwhelming response from many of you saying that you want a tutorial on how to use these things. So it's really funny that I'm doing this because 6 years ago when I started looking into essential oils, I thought it was a bunch of hocus pocus. So if that's you out there, if you're thinking, oh my gosh, this stuff's so crazy, it's voodoo, it's really not. Stay tuned, keep listening, educate yourselves, start trying to use these, and then get back to me. So what I thought I would do for today is provide you with a lot of information. So this is going to be a much longer video than I typically record. So if you don't have time to watch it now, come back, watch it later. First of all, though, what we need to do is we need to be able to educate ourselves. So I think after, hey, good morning, Sherry. Good morning, Randy. Hey, guys. So I think after you guys watch this, you'll have a much better handle on how to start using essential oils. But first things first, I think that you guys all need a reference. Okay, I have so many references, but I think that the one that is easiest to use, which, hey, we're all about easiness, right, is this, Essentials of the Earth. And I'm going to try to remember to put that link in the comments below as to where you can order it. But it's so easy because it gives you some background on essential oils, and you can look up your ailments, and then it gives recommendations as to what you can use for oils. Now, so before I get going here, I just want to remind you guys that it's our lifestyle that prevents disease, right? Like making sure that we're modifying stress, making sure that we're reducing toxin exposure, eating a plant-based diet, exercising, those kind of things. If you want to treat disease, you're going to have to go see your family physician, your nurse practitioner, your physician assistant, whoever it is, because they're probably going to employ medicinal effects, pharmaceuticals. The body, though, it's amazing. And if you guys have been following me, you too realize how amazing our bodies are and that they can, in fact, heal themselves. Okay, so now that you know about the reference to get that I'm recommending, let's dig into this. Okay, so first of all, do you guys even know what these essential oils are, right? Like they're coming in these little bottles and they smell good, but what are they? They're essentially extracts from plants and plant parts. So roots, stems, leaves, petals of flowers. And then they're either steam distilled or they're cold pressed into an oil. Now, let's think about this for a little bit. I actually have this like little PowerPoint right beside me so that I can go over a lot of information for you guys. But if we took a peppermint leaf and we magnified it beneath a microscope, what would we see? We'd see these little sacks of oils, you guys, and those little sacks of oils, those are the essential oils. They're what are protecting the plant from invaders. And that's exactly what these essential oils do for us. They help to protect us. They keep us healthy. They give the body what it needs to heal itself. And how do they compare to herbs, though? Because a lot of you guys are used to using herbs. You're more familiar with herbs. Well, guess what? They're 50 to 70 times more powerful than herbs. They're actually a natural they're a natural alternative to synthetic drugs. That's why I'm super interested in them, because synthetic drugs, they're just that. They're synthetic. There's lots of side effects. There's a lot of interactions with other medications, and they're expensive, okay? So when we look at essential oils, and sometimes people say, hey, what is X oil good for, Amanda? Well, it's really difficult for me to answer that because each individual oil has several hundred different compounds. And each one of those compounds, you guys, is used for a different medicinal effect. So pharmaceutical companies, they're actually trying to mimic these natural compounds. I mean, 60% of prescription and over-the-counter drugs, they're derived from botanicals. It's kind of crazy. But remember, I think in a video I just did recently, I told you guys that over 100,000 Americans are dying each year from properly prescribed pharmaceuticals. Now, before I get into, you guys are just like waiting for me to like bring out each oil and tell you what it's used for, and I will. but I think it's really important to kind of dig into the history a little bit. Now, who knows Hippocrates, right? Like, we've heard of Hippocrates, right? Like, he's the father of modern medicine. And I don't know if you guys know this, but he used to use willow bark compresses. Willow bark, it's a great natural anti-inflammatory. So he would use these topically to help with people's pain. But guess who caught on to his smarts? Bayer aspirin. Do you guys know acetylsalicylic acid, aspirin? Right? Like, I've just worked the last few days in the ER. I use this every single shift on several patients, but it's synthetically derived. So we know, obviously, there are side effects associated with the administration of aspirin: bleeding, GI upset. And so I thought that was kind of interesting. Now, if you have essential oils at home, it's very, very important. Listen, I want to stress this, that they are, hey, good morning, Carlene, good morning, Pam, good morning, Elizabeth. I want to stress that they need to be certified pure therapeutic grade, okay? So we're going to talk about doTERRA. If you have found another company that you like and you work with, that's great. This information still applies. There's one brand I'm going to call out that I see a lot of patients using, though. It's the Now brand. Throw that you-know-what out. That's just not good. We want third-party testing. We want these oils to be tested through gas chromatography, mass spectrometry to know that they're pure, right? So if we're using an oil that just has a few drops of the essential oil but is adulterated with fillers, it's not going to have the same effect as a certified pure therapeutic grade. Okay, so enough about that. Make sure that you're using a good oil. Make sure that it's sourced where the plant grows indigenously. In other words, where it grows naturally, right? Like, I like doTERRA's lavender. It comes from stinking France. You can't really get much better than that. And again, I'm not affiliated with any company, so I feel like I can say what I want. But anyway, these oils, you guys, like, when they're certified pure, they work fast. One drop. And so I'm going to speak to you gentlemen out there, because gentlemen seem to think more is better. It's not. Okay, so one drop of essential oil will service every single cell in your body. Essential oils, they have very, very, very small molecules. There are about like 40 million trillion molecules in each drop of essential oil. So that means your body will use what it needs and it will expel what it doesn't need in, several hours. Okay, here's the nitty gritty. So get out a pen and a piece of paper, because you guys are probably going to want to take some notes. Why do I love these essential oils? I love them because they are antimicrobial. In other words, they kill bacteria, viruses, and parasites. What else does that? If you go to your doctor and you don't have a bacterial infection that we can treat with antibiotics, what do we tell you? We say, hey, listen, sorry, it's a virus. It's just going to take some time to work its way out of your system. Here's some supportive care. Well, use essential oils in your supportive care, you guys, because like I said, these are effective in combating viruses. What's one of our biggest problems right now? One of our biggest problems right now is this superbug crisis. We're seeing that bugs that were once susceptible to certain antibiotics aren't anymore. That's why I want you guys to educate yourself, so when you go to see your primary care provider, you aren't taking an antibiotic unless you need one. Okay, so antibiotics, they work on a single synthetic pathway. In other words, when I prescribe, say, penicillin to you, it might work on the cell wall. If that bacteria has mutated, that antimicrobial, antibiotic is not going to be effective. Whereas, which mounts resistance. Whereas essential oils, they use something called the biodiversity of nature. That means they can work on different aspects. So sorry, calls coming in. So they can work on different aspects. And so resistance is much less likely. What's an inexpensive option to get introduced to essential oils? Heather, great question. So we can't really put a price tag on health. I'm going to tell you something, okay? So lavender essential oil, I don't even really know how much this costs, maybe $25. This is a 15 ml bottle, okay? 15 ml. So, say this is $28. I think this is $28. Each 15 ml bottle contains 250 drops. And what did I just say? I said that each application is going to be between probably like 1 and 3 drops. So you guys do the math. This is gonna last forever. So yes, the initial investment with an essential oil, it might be expensive, but in the long term, it's going to help your health so much. And again, if you pay $10 for a bottle of lavender and it's synthetic, and trust me, if you smell a bottle of synthetic lavender and certified pure therapeutic grade, you are definitely going to be able to tell the difference. You get what you pay for. So I hope that answers your question, Heather. There are some people that are local to our area in Maine that make their own essential oils, so that's always an option as well. But I really do think that they pay for themselves over and over and over again. It'll keep you out of the doctor's office. It'll help you heal yourself. So how can we use these? Okay, there's 3 essential ways that you can use these. Hey, good morning, Kathy. Good morning, Kim. First, aromatically. Okay, so you've heard of aromatherapy, and I think that's what most people are familiar with when looking at essential oils. You can diffuse them. So hop on Amazon, search for diffusers. I love them. I have one in, I think, every single room of my house. So you can smell them. They make you happy, just the smell, but the aroma helps to heal you as well. You can, if you don't have a diffuser, you don't have the money for a diffuser, that's fine. Stick a drop of essential oil on the palm of your hand, rub your hands together, cup them over your nose and your mouth, and inhale deeply. This also is a way of using aromatherapy, okay? So aromatically, so we can diffuse them, we can do a self-diffusing, we can use them topically. So we're going to be putting essential oils on, warts, rashes, acne, sore muscles. So we can use them topically. The bottom of the foot, guess what? It's the most porous area in the body. This is the best spot to put an oil. So if you're like, hey, I want to use these, don't know where to put them on the bottom of your foot. Okay, so for little kids, I have a 4-year-old daughter, Arabella. We put them on the bottom of her feet every night. It's a ritual. She loves it. So again, aromatically first, topically second, and third is orally. Okay, so if you're using a certified pure therapeutic grade, you can eat this, right? Like you can put it in dips, you can put it in water. So for those of you who don't like the taste of just natural water, you can put a drop of essential oil in the water. And guess what else you can do? You can make little capsules. So you can buy vegetable capsules, you can put the drop of oil in there, and you can take them that way. You can also buy oils. You guys saw like my little ditty, I think, on Guard the other day, like this. They look like little vitamin E capsules. They come out of a bottle like this. So this contains like 5 drops of On Guard. Guess who takes this before and after every single shift in the ER? This girl. Okay, so orally. So are these essential oils safe? Because that's what we care about, right? Like we want to be safe. They're super safe, they're gentle, very few side effects. Now, what we are most likely to see as a side effect would be skin irritation. So if you're one of those people, if you have super sensitive skin, do a patch test before using the essential oil, just on your arm or whatnot, and dilute. So this presentation is geared mostly towards adults, but I'm definitely going to speak of children. When you are using an essential oil on a child, guys, these have to be diluted. Okay, so 1 drop of essential oil for me is not going to affect me the same way that 1 undiluted drop would affect my daughter. Okay, so Arabella's oils are all diluted. We use coconut oil, and doTERRA actually has diluted a whole line of oils for kids. For those of you who are busy, don't want to dilute yourselves, but still want to use them. And they oftentimes come in roller bottles that look like this. So you can just take the cap off like this and roll this on. Okay, so super safe. Now, if you do have an adverse reaction to the oil, like a skin irritation, don't douse it with water. Oh gosh, I've had several parents do that in the past. Oil and water don't mix. That makes things way worse. So what you'd want to do is you'd want to add more of the oil. Like I said, I use coconut. You can use canola, olive, grapeseed, jojoba, like whatever it is you want to use. So just dilute it out more with oil. So what I thought I would do is I would talk about the 10 oils that I use most often. And so if you're new to using essential oils, you're going to want to tune in because these are the oils that you're going to want to purchase. So if you have these oils in your home, You can call it your little medicine cabinet, right? Like you can be able to start treating things a lot easier. So have to be careful with that word, treating. FDA, you guys are going to get mad at me. So anyway, lavender. Lavender is probably the most versatile of all oils. And I didn't think I used to like the smell of lavender, but oh my gosh, like if you get a therapeutic grade oil, you are going to love it. If you have cats, yes, Tracy, yes, that's very true. If you do have animals, you have to be more careful with what oils you are diffusing, especially cats. And there's another book that was written by a veterinarian that I will post in the comments below for you dog people, because there are 5 essential oils that I think of for dogs that work really awesome, and same thing with cats. So thank you, Tracy, for bringing that up, and I'll post that in the comments below. So anyway, lavender, super calming. It's relaxing. We use it a lot for sleep. It actually stimulates the pineal gland. And it's really great for skin stuff. So story, a few years ago in the emergency department, I had a guy, he had a nasty palmar burn. He was working with a torch, and the poor guy, he didn't have health insurance. So there was no way he was going to follow up with a plastic surgeon. So I talked to he and his wife about purchasing some lavender oil, using this topically with the coconut oil. Oh my gosh, he found me online, and his hand, he took before and after pictures, absolutely amazing. So for all burns, cuts, scrapes, abrasions, lavender is your go-to. And if you don't have the oil but have this Correct-X, oh gosh, guys, this contains lavender. I use it on every single cut, abrasion, scrape that you can imagine. So it's also a natural antihistamine. So people with hay fever, this is definitely something to have in your diffuser. I have so many pictures of burns though. I just really wish that I could show this to you guys. And I think that's kind of what lured you guys into saying that you wanted an essential oil video, because of my little sister, her little scratch on her cheek there. We put a lavender essential oil on it, and in 48 hours, it was almost gone. So don't just take my word for it though. If you go to pubmed.gov, hey guys, I'm trying to read your comments, but then it kind of throws me off, so don't think I'm being rude. So go to pubmed.gov. There are so many research articles looking specifically at lavender and anxiety. One that I looked at recently was looking at anxiety in dental offices. Who likes to go get their teeth scraped? This girl does not. Anyway, diffusing this helps. So lemon. Lemon is amazing. So it's a great natural antiseptic. It helps to improve circulation. Again, it's antimicrobial, so it kills bacteria, viruses. It's good for respiratory stuff. So have you guys ever had like that mucus like in your throat, like you just like can't get it up? Stick a drop of lemon and honey in your tea, and that's definitely going to help to break that up. I remember when Arabella was like 2, Jake and I did that in her, like we stinking put it in her bottle and she in her little sippy cup, and it helped to break up the mucus a ton. I also, like I told you, was super skeptical about essential oils in the beginning, but I had this nasty mirror in my bathroom, like toothpaste sprays like all over it. And I'd heard that if you just mix lemon essential oil and water, so I have like probably like a 6-ounce spray bottle, and I put like 25 drops of lemon in there. Sprayed down the mirror, wiped it down. Oh my gosh, looked amazing. It looked like a mess at first, but it did work wonderfully. Lemon, I use it as my nature's goo gone. If you have grease on something, if you have blood on something, if you whatever, use this neat. Neat means undiluted. So take the oil, drop it right onto the area, allow it to sit for a little bit, and then work it out with like a warm rag. Same thing with laundry. Before you launder your dirty, your stained clothes, like red wine, it's happened. Put the lemon right on there, allow it to penetrate the cloth, and then wash it. Works awesome. Now, I did a video recently talking about sinus issues. Now, a lot of times sinus issues stem from allergies. So lemon is great for those of you with allergies, just like the lavender, but this actually inhibits mast cell degradation. What I mean by that is mast cells release histamine. They're what give us the runny eyes, the itchy nose, yada yada. So they did a study looking at several individuals with allergies, and those that put a drop of lemon essential oil in their nasal irrigation did much better. So at the end of like 30 days, they went from being super symptomatic to having absolutely no symptoms. So that's another thing that you can do. You can put 1 drop of lemon essential oil in your neti pot or in your nasal irrigation system, and it works wonderfully. Peppermint. Love this. I use this all the time. It's probably the one oil that I use the most. So 1 drop of peppermint essential oil is the equivalent to 28 cups of peppermint tea. Hey, good morning, Jerry. Hey, Di. Hey, Delia. So I remember I told you guys more is not better. So 1 drop is all you need. It's great to be used as a fever reducer. You know, fever is great. It's our body's way of fighting off disease, but we all feel lethargic, especially our little ones, if we are febrile. So using a few drops of peppermint in like a little 2 to 3 ounce spray bottle with water helps to kind of cool the whole system. Putting a drop or 2 on the bottom of the foot, that also helps. Helps to invigorate lungs, increases alertness. My mom does this crazy thing where she puts like 1 drop in the middle of the forehead and she thinks it makes her focus in others. And it really does. I've stopped telling my mom she's crazy because I sound just like her and we're best friends, and this is so amazing. She is the one who actually introduced me and my Aunt Di to essential oil, so I'm excited. I'm so thankful. Okay. Bowel inflammation. Do you guys suffer from irritable bowel disease, colitis, Crohn's? Okay, there's been so much research to support that peppermint helps with these conditions. It's actually the #1 alternative mode of treatment that the Mayo Clinic recommends to their patients. It's so effective that pharmaceutical companies, they are developing synthetic treatment options with peppermint. Obviously, they're not nearly as effective as the real deal. So for bowel inflammation, you know, putting a drop in water, drinking it, putting it in a vegetable capsule, like I told you, and taking it orally, helps with upset stomachs. But what I probably use it most for is headaches. So I see tons of people in the emergency department with headaches, tension headaches, right? Like putting a drop, 1 drop on your finger, rubbing your fingers together like this, and rubbing your temples and getting right into that parietal area. Yeah, I didn't want to do my hair today. Sorry, I'm wearing a hat. But yeah, really getting in there. So peppermint works well. Then you have it on your hands. So I told you that it's great for to use these essential oils aromatically. Cup your hands over your nose and your mouth. Inhale deeply several times. Rest for a minute. And it helps so much. It's almost instantaneous with headaches. Now remember, with headaches, you want to abort them early. So as soon as you start getting that feeling of a headache coming on, you're going to want to bring out your peppermint essential oil and try that. Again, not all oils work exactly the same for every individual person because our biochemistry makeup is different. So if it's not working for you, then you need to try something else, which is why, like I said, you're going to need to get this reference. And again, I'll put that link in the comments below. So it works great with headaches. I actually had this patient a few months ago complaining of this bad headache. We ruled out that there wasn't a bleed in there, so we could effectively treat him with an anti-inflammatory that we typically use in the IV. That didn't help. And then I did a spinal tap to make sure there's nothing crazy, nothing like meningitis going on, and that was negative. And so I was at my wit's end. And I don't know why I didn't think of it before, but I was like, hey, would you be open to me applying some peppermint essential oil? Do that? Couldn't believe it. Headache went away, and he was asking for more peppermint essential oil at the end of his visit instead of narcotics or anti-inflammatories. It was great. So also helps great with digestion, circulation, again, allergies. So the trio for allergies, so if you are an allergy sufferer, you're gonna want to make sure that you have lavender, lemon, and peppermint. So those 3 work wonders together. You can put them in your diffuser, you can put them in a roller bottle and use them topically, and you can definitely take them orally. So pain control. Okay, a lot of us, we have chronic issues, aches and pains. We're all getting older. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this, but Tylenol, it's like in everything, and it's just alarming because I think a lot of you don't know that Tylenol is acetaminophen. So acetaminophen is the #1 cause for liver failure in the United States. So be aware of what you're putting in your body. I'm just giving you kind of some science on the side. Hey, Karen, I'm glad that you're a believer. And oh my gosh, thank you so much. Kind of all over the place. That's just how I am. Sorry, but I get excited about this stuff. So anyway, be careful about what you're taking over the counter for medication, because don't want your liver to have issues. And you can try some other things, including essential oils. They've done studies, again, looking specifically at using essential oils and peppermint to treat headaches. Excuse me, I think I just said that wrong. See, you just get so crazy on these live videos. If you guys haven't done a live video, try doing one and see if you even know what it is you're saying. They did a study looking specifically at Tylenol treating headaches and peppermint essential oil, and guess what? They both help to treat headaches. So if we can use something that's not medicinal and doesn't have the ability to hurt our body, why not? That's my whole point. So Melaleuca is the next oil. I think it might be our fourth oil. Kind of lost track. But this is kind of like nature's Neosporin or other antibiotic ointment. You might know it as tea tree oil. So it's great for fungal infections. My ex-husband, he doesn't watch these videos, so we won't have to worry about him finding out about this, but he had like fungal toenails. And he wanted to try Lamisil. Lamisil, it's definitely toxic to the liver. It's just a nasty pharmaceutical, and that wasn't really an option. So he actually applied Melaleuca morning and night, plus or minus some oregano here and there, for several months, and it took care of his infection. So obviously you have to be consistent and compliant with essential oils for them to work, because if you aren't, they don't hop out of the bottle and apply themselves. So that's the one downfall to essential oils. You definitely have to be diligent with application. So works great for diaper rashes. So little ones that have like contact dermatitis, or even if they have candida, so yeast, this works really, really great with. You can make a little spray bottle with this Melaleuca. I also like to add frankincense and lavender, so that works great. Insect bites, those of us up here in Maine, hey Marsha, hey Michelle, those of us up here in Maine, like we don't have to worry about insect bites right now, because it's like sneaking 15 degrees out there. It's just a balmy day here in Maine. But you can apply Melaleuca to insect bites. Rashes, I mean, I've done videos on rashes, so if you're a rash sufferer, don't think that you can just magically apply essential oils and they're going to go away. Typically a rash is manifesting because there's something going on internally, but Melaleuca is definitely something that you're going to want to have in your medicine cabinet for eczema and other irritated skin conditions. So what's the next oil? Let's talk about oregano. Oregano, it's a heavy hitter. It's something that everyone needs in their medicine cabinet, especially as we're going into flu and cold season. So super, super potent antimicrobial. It actually helps to stimulate our immune response. It's great for GI health. People with tag moles, people with warts, oregano should be your go-to. Now, oregano is considered a hot oil. So if something's considered a hot oil, you really want to be careful with topical application because it could burn your skin. So diluting oregano is probably a great idea. I've had, there was a woman once, she had pendulous breasts and she had a tag mole beneath one, and I wasn't so careful with explaining to her exactly how she should use it. So she was applying the oregano undiluted. Now the skin fold kind of sat down on itself and she created an ulcer there. It took off the tag mole, it created an ulcer. So, she'd also put an adhesive over it. Don't put a plastic adhesive over this, it's gonna eat right through it. So if you have a wart, doTERRA, like I said, has a roller bottle of oregano that's already diluted that you can use. If you're going to dilute it yourself, I would take a roller bottle and probably fill that with fractionated coconut oil, and then probably put 5 to 10 drops of oregano. Apply this to the wart 3 times a day, and keep doing it. Okay, so just be consistent. So oregano is kind of like your little medicine cabinet in a bottle. Actually, Georgetown University has done several studies looking specifically at oil of oregano, and garlic. And guess what? Found them that they are as effective as certain antibiotics. Like one of them was penicillin. You guys heard of penicillin? We use this to treat, strep throat, dental infections, syphilis. So it's a strong antibiotic. Vancomycin, right? Like we were talking earlier about the crisis for resistance to certain antimicrobials. So oil of oregano is being compared to that antibiotic. That's absolutely amazing. Now, frankincense. Frankincense I really love. I think everyone needs this. It comes from the resin of a frankincense tree, most predominantly found in Oman, Saudi Arabia, which again is why you definitely want to be buying an oil where it's sourced, where they get the oils where they grow indigenously. Because I don't think we grow frankincense trees great in the U.S. I'm not sure. But it's great for an antidepressant, anxiety. Want to know why? Because it contains a chemical constituent called a sesquiterpene, which allows it to cross the blood-brain barrier, okay, which is where our limbic system is, which is our feel-good center. So frankincense, probably all of us, especially those of us in the Northeast that we're entering the winter season, need to be using this daily, right? So it's great for all stress-related conditions, but it's also a great nerve tonic. So people with, Parkinson's, MS, all of those kind of things. It's a great anti-inflammatory. We've looked at studies showing that it inhibits the production of pro-inflammatory processes. So people that have, hey Teresa, hey Madonna, so people that are suffering from rheumatoid arthritis and osteoarthritis and chronic pain, those kind of things, frankincense is great. Frankincense also, we know, it inhibits the growth of cancer cells. Okay, so if we're taking this daily, as long as leading a healthy lifestyle, we are practicing prevention. We have looked at studies specifically showing that frankincense stimulates apoptosis. Apoptosis is just a fancy way of saying programmed cell death. In other words, making these cancer cells just die. So love it. I think pharmaceutical companies, they're camped out over in Saudi Arabia trying to figure out exactly what compound in frankincense does that, because remember I told you that each essential oil has several hundred different compounds. So they're trying to make some kind of synthetic compound that does the same thing, but again, go to the source. It's much more effective. I work with another essential oil. It's a blend. It's called Deep Blue. So if you have been my patient in the ER, you might have experienced me rubbing this onto your neck, your back, your knee, I don't know, wherever. I use it on headaches if I don't have peppermint oil in my purse. Works awesome. So it's the topical application of essential oils. One oil that's in there though, it's called helichrysum. Helichrysum works on all of the different anti-inflammatory pathways. Super effective. By itself though, helichrysum is super expensive. So one little tiny 5 ml bottle of helichrysum is $100, I think. Again, I'm not good with prices. So it might be even a little bit more than that, I can't remember. But Deep Blue Rub, it's amazing. You can purchase this at Tiller and Rye if you are local to Brewer or Bangor area. I love it. And a little dab will do you. So a pea-sized amount applied to the affected area, rubbing it in vigorously, and then repeating as needed. So Breathe, that's another blend. It's a blend used for respiratory issues. So coughing, colds, congestion. Again, applying a few drops to the anterior chest and right to the lungs in the back works awesome. Having that residual on your hand, breathing it in and letting it go out. Putting it on the bottom of your little one's feet. So, Karen, I'm so happy to hear that. Hey, Susan. So another physician that I work with, she did not believe in essential oils. Then she has a baby. So she has a baby and the baby's below 6 months old. So nothing's really safe to really give the baby for medicine. The baby has a cold. She starts using this. She sees amazing things happen. She goes to her primary doctor, starts telling the primary doctor about how amazing these essential oils are. And then her primary doctor, warns her and says that, peppermint or this or that isn't safe for her little one. Okay. if you're being told that lavender is not good for boys, if peppermint's not safe for babies, you know, blah, 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 let's just think about this for a minute, okay? So the reason why those warnings are issued, number one, the whole lavender thing, I can send you the research for that. It was a crappy study, and anyway, we won't get into that. But if you're hearing these things, a lot of times the reason why people are saying this is because they're talking about oils that aren't therapeutic grade, which is why it's so important to spend the money for a therapeutic grade oil, because if you don't have the real deal, you can have side effects to the things that are adulterating the oils, you know, the fillers. Okay, so again, that's why you need to use the therapeutic grade. So the next oil, Digest Zen. You guys, this stuff's amazing. So again, these oils, they give the body, hey, good morning, Dondi. They give the body what it needs to heal itself. So have you heard of a pharmaceutical that can treat constipation and diarrhea? Doubtful. So this can though. So for little people, again, we have to revert back to lifestyle. It's really all about lifestyle. Little people that have constipation though, like, are they eating dairy? Are they getting enough fiber? But you can apply a few drops of the Digest Zen to their bellies and rub it in, as well as the bottom of their feet. Works amazing. Same thing with you that are suffering from GERD. So you guys that are suffering from GERD, you're put on these meds, H2 blockers, proton pump inhibitors, you know, Protonix, Pepcid, Tagamet. You guys have heard these, right? Guess what? They are approved for 14 days at a time by the FDA. That's it. And guess what the side effects are associated with long-term use? Osteoporosis, increased fracture risk. Not good, okay? So this Digest Zen can be taken orally as well to help with that. So, hey, good morning, Lori. So the last essential oil that I'm going to just talk about for today is the On Guard. And I talked about it a little bit in a previous video, but this is just an amazing antimicrobial. So it helps to combat bacteria, viruses, parasites, and fungus. And the way that we can use this, again, just kind of reiterating, do you guys notice that there's a pattern here? So diffusing this, so using it aromatically, using it topically. Like I said, Arabella has this in a roller bottle. She puts it on the bottom of her feet every night during cold season, just because she has a mama and a dad that work in medicine, and she goes to daycare. So we're all about practicing prevention. And then I take it orally. I showed you guys earlier this little teeny gel cap, 5 drops of On Guard. I take this before and after all shifts. So there has been research to show that this oil, doTERRA's On Guard, is effective, 90% effective against H1N1, so against influenza. Do you guys know any other treatment for influenza that's that effective? Okay, I don't. So if you do, then get back at me. It's also effective against MRSA, methicillin-resistant Staph aureus. That's a super bug, right, that we're having so much difficulty treating in medicine with antibiotics. Why not try this essential oil? I have seen before and afters of all of these abscesses caused by MRSA treated with this. Amazing. So anyway, like I said, kind of a longer video. I hope that you guys have found this helpful. If you have, like it, share it with someone that you think it could help. I think if we start using essential oils as well as other natural means to our life, then we can absolutely help to heal ourselves and to prevent disease. So anyway, have a great day, guys, and I'll chat with you soon.